I just wanted you guys to know that I am convinced it is never going to be spring or summer here in South Dakota. It's just straight crap again. While we're here chatting though, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things for me. Be a part of the movement. Anyway, my plan was to change it up for you guys this week and get off of the residential zero-turn train we've been riding here lately. But after Friday and Saturday, I am now down to one Ikon. So we're going to talk about those today since I have one left to show you. So strap in and we'll get after it. What's going on, YouTube? It is another cold, windy, and depressing day here in South Dakota. Today I want to walk you guys around the Ariens Ikon, or the Ikon XD, they technically call it. I don't like the idea of letting inventory dictate what we're doing here, but kind of the world we live in nowadays, I kind of have to. Literally down to my last one, and I don't think we're going to get any more of these this year. So I wanted to cover this week quick before I'm out of them. A lot of the components and specs on these are going to be pretty similar to the last few residential zero turns I've covered, but I'm still going to try to touch upon everything in case you haven't seen any of those, or if this was just specifically what you were searching for and you found. I'll still try and touch upon everything for you. So let's get started. So the Ariens Ikon has the same 3-year, $300 warranty that they put on most of their smaller residential mowers between them and Gravely. They offer a 42-inch, a 52-inch, and a 60-inch deck option. The 42-inch comes with either this 21.5 horse Kawasaki or a 22 horsepower Kohler. The 52-inch comes with a 23 horsepower Kawasaki or a 24 horsepower Kohler, and the 60-inch comes with the 23 horse Kawasaki engine option only. Now, like I'd mentioned, this is the last one I've got. I've got this 142-inch right now. As far as the regular Ikons go, there is a limited edition one of these, kind of like they did with the ZTX and the Stealth. I've got some of those. I'm going to do a whole nother video on those coming up here soon too. But this is the 42-inch one that I have left right now. It's the same 11-gauge fabricated steel deck like they use on a lot of their residential zero turns. Like I always talk about, it's got the double-sided deck hangers. It has the gusseted anti-scalp wheels, reinforced leading edge all the way along the front side of it. It's still a 3-spindle or a 3-blade deck. The only 2-blade ones that Ariens does on anything anymore is a couple of those littler edge models. I think the 34 and the 42 are both a 2-blade on those. I'm not a big fan of that deck on those. Hydro Gear EZT or ZT2200 Hydro, like we talk about all the time. So it does 7 mile an hour forward, 3 mile an hour reverse, 20-inch tall tire on the back, 11-inch tall tire on the front. And this is a fully box tubed frame on these. I don't talk about the frames probably enough, but so all the way around this thing, it's a complete square tubed frame. I had just mentioned those edge models. I'm not as big of a fan of those. That's a channeled frame, so there's a lot more flex and play in those. There's a reason I don't really stock any of those edges normally. The edge models, they make a 34-inch that has a stamped deck that is literally the only stamped deck that Ariens makes anymore. And then the 42 is a fabricated deck on those, but it's a 2-blade and it doesn't cut nearly as nice as these 3-blade decks do on the Ikons. Now from the seat, this has the same foot operated deck lift just like on the Gravely's. So you push your pedal down, lifts the deck, and then you've got your dial adjust right here, so you can dial this to whatever you want your cut height to be. So there's 3 3/4 inch. Set your pedal back down, it sets it at your cut height. So it's just like what's on the Gravely's, similar to what's on the Cub Cadets. There's is kind of just backwards on the opposite side. But there's 13 positions, anywhere from 1.5 inches all the way up to 4.5 inches. I don't talk about this enough on some of these residential zero turns, but I like that Ariens and Gravely both use a separate park brake lever. So when you put that down, your park brake's off now. You pull it up to put it on. Cub Cadets are actuated by flipping these levers in and out. That would be your park brake position. I'm not really a fan of that, but it's only because I have a habit of jumping on the machine and flipping the handlebars in and then trying to start it. We honestly sell more Gravely's than we do Ariens, so it doesn't break my heart that these are going to be gone, because I still have plenty of Gravely's to sell. But being we're the lawnmower and snowblower people here in our town, it's still pretty embarrassing to have to tell people that I'm going to be out of a particular model of mower. before we've even started cutting grass. But seriously, guys, like, comment, subscribe, help me out. Pretty standard dash panel, throttle, choke lever. These are still manual choke, being they're a Kawasaki. Almost all the Kohlers they use anymore are still too. They used to use some automatic chokes from Kohler once in a while. But it has an hour meter, electric PTO switch, of course. 2.8 gallon tank, just like what's under the ZTX. Pretty simple under here. Gas tank, battery, it's about it. These come with a really nice 18-inch high back seat with padded armrests on it. And of course there's a full lineup of accessories for these. They have a powered bagger for it, same exact one that they put on the ZTX. I'm just completely out of them, so I do have that one shown in my ZTX video I did a few weeks back, so I'll leave the link in the comments for that one if you guys want to check that out. But otherwise, there's a lot of the same accessories they would offer you for a Gravely too. They have a rubber floor mat available for the thing. There's an LED headlight kit that mounts off the front, kind of a bumper I'll call it, up here. Of course, there's a hitch kit, mounts off the tail end of it, right back here where this little vacant spot is. If you guys have seen my Gravely ZTX or my Gravely Stealth videos, I've talked about this little engine hoop too. Ariens gives those to you right out of the box. They don't serve any real purpose, they just look cool, but they sell those as an accessory for the Gravely's, but they give that to you right out of the crate for the Ariens. And then Ariens and Gravely do offer a full lineup of pull behind accessories too, but of course once you put the hitch on there, you don't have to buy theirs necessarily. You can buy Agrifab or whoever, but there's a spreader, dethatcher, literally just a yard roller. There's all kinds of pull behind stuff you can get for these too. So I have a dry erase board of just some of the mowers that we have on order, and I try to keep this updated weekly, but I'm not kidding you. These are some actual ship dates as of right now. It's getting ridiculous. All right, let's wrap this up. So if the Ariens Ikon's something that you're interested in or have been looking at, obviously availability is the first issue. You got to find one. If you got a dealer near you and they have one, snag it. They're not sticking around like everything else. You know, I feel like we talk about this every week. So like every other brand, that's the issue. I've mentioned this in the past also, but it's those things they outsource that's holding them up, and that's why every mower company across the board is running into issues, because there's not enough engines to go around, and they're all buying Kawasaki and Kohler engines, or there's not enough transmissions to go around, and they're all buying them from Hydro Gear. The stuff they make themselves, they can make. It may have gotten more expensive, but you know, steel prices go up or whatever, but these mower companies can keep pumping out chassis and decks and stuff like that without any issues other than just prices going up. But it's the stuff they don't build themselves that have been holding them up. So that's the first thing. If you're really interested in these, you got to find one. Keep in mind they're built for about that 1 acre residential use, just like a Gravely ZTX would be or anything in that same kind of class. But these are a very well constructed mower. They're built right in Brillion, Wisconsin, and man, that's an Ariens town. I think Ariens employs half that population of that town. So you go there, it is Ariens and Gravely, everything, everywhere you look. But it's a pretty neat place. I've been there, I've checked out the museum, checked out all their plants. But I consider it to be a very well constructed mower. If you really compare it to its counterparts, a couple examples I'll use, like an Ultima ZT1 from Cub Cadet, the Hustler Raptor, Bad Boys Magnum, the John Deere Z365R. Those would be your comparable class mowers to the Ariens Ikon. And honestly, if you look at the frames, especially in the front end and especially around the casters, look at that Hustler, look at that Bad Boy, especially look at that John Deere, you'll immediately see why I think the Ariens is a better mower. Look at the seat on the Magnum, on the Hustler, on that John Deere again. You'll understand why I think the Ariens is the better mower for sure. And really, if you look at the engine options on the Deere and the Hustler, again, you'll see why I think the Ariens is the better mower. And John Deere might be a poor example to use. A lot of you John Deere lovers are not going to like this, but I'm not a fan of their zero turns whatsoever. They don't build a bad zero turn at all. They don't really compete in the sense that they automatically get more money for their stuff because it's painted green and says John Deere on it. So the John Deere that costs the same as this Ariens does is a much chintzier frame. It has a much smaller engine. It has a much chintzier seat on it. It is not the same caliber of mower as the Ariens is, but John Deere will get that price for it because it's painted John Deere green and says John Deere on it. So I know I'm going to have those John Deere lovers that are going to hate me for that, but it's the truth. Everybody else, like I said, that's in that class, in that caliber, in that similar price range, they're good mowers. The Hustler Raptor is a really nice mower, but if you look at the engine options on it, you look at the front forks and casters on it, you look at the seat on the thing, you'll want to buy an Ariens over that for sure. Bad boy again, really nice mower. When you consider a mower company isn't much more than a welding company though, again, if you look at the front casters on those or the front frame, the front end of the frame, I think you can kind of visually tell the Ariens is a little bit better constructed. And that's the kind of area where you'll see issues. Like I've seen from running into holes over the years and things like that, guys will destroy those front casters on some mowers. That's the stuff that takes the toll. So that's the kind of parts you got to look at, because that's especially on a zero turn, because that smaller front wheel is one that takes all the abuse. But like I mentioned, they're right in line price wise with everything else out there. The 42 inches are going to start around $3,700. The 42s to the 52s are going to be anywhere between $3,700 and about $4,000, depending on which engine and stuff you can find them with. I have seen a 60 incher for as much as $4,500. This stuff's all kind of fluid because everything keeps changing price with availability. So the prices might go up again by the time I get them in again. I don't know. So that's the hardest part is planning pricing. And honestly, I'm really not a big fan of that 60 incher in this caliber of mower. I just really feel like if you're in the market for a 60-inch mower, you should probably be looking at a little bigger caliber mower. The Ikon like this, you know, for the size yard it's designed for, most people really don't need anything bigger than a 52 inch. I know I touched upon the baggers earlier. Those are about $1,300. Again, it's all fluid. That could be changing. Like I said, I'm out right now. I'm going to leave that link down below in the description for the ZTX video I did. I've got the baggers in that. It's the same bagger that fits that ZTX, so you guys can check it out. But like I said, I'm currently out. I've got more on order. They're supposed to be coming, as of right now, they're telling me June. But I don't know if the price is staying the same on those yet, but I'll find out once we get them actually shipped and invoiced. But it is a belt-driven or powered bagger, which is why it is a little spendier than a lot of other baggers you're going to find. Hustler and Cub Cadet being two examples. Those guys always have cheaper baggers, but they don't do powered baggers, so they don't work very well. So that's always the trade-off, right? They said that there's going to be a non-powered option coming for this that'll be a little bit cheaper, so then you'd have the choice between the two. But they, for the most part, have stuck with powered baggers on everything, because other than the littlest 34-inch edge that Ariens makes, Ariens and Gravely as a company whole do not do any stamped decks anymore. Everything is a welded, fabricated deck, so with that heavier deck, you can mount a belt-driven powered bagger on it, and that's why they've stuck to doing that, because those work so much better. But like I mentioned, I'll leave that link down below for you guys for that ZTX video, so if you want to check that one out, you can catch a glimpse of the bagger in that one. But I do genuinely appreciate you guys checking out my video today, and I really hope you found this helpful. If this was something you were looking for any information on at all, hit me up in the comments if I left anything out or you have any other questions. I try to get to everyone, especially if you have questions, I'll definitely reply to you. I'll ask like I always do, hit the subscribe button for me if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this at all, and until next time, I'll see you.